We begin with a man who could be the next president of the United States. Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney, a Republican, will leave office here in the Bay State in January. And many believe he has the ability to govern this country. So, Governor, do you want to do that?
Well, I don't think anybody wants to take on the problems of America, but I think anybody who'd think about it would consider it a real honor.
It would be an honor, but, you know, President Bush was at the UN today and basically laying out to the world that we're an honorable country, which I believe. I do believe that, and that we want peace, and I believe that. But so many people don't. So many people around the world hate America, and even within our own country, the hatred toward President Bush, I have never seen this kind of vitriol. Do you know why that is?
Well, America stands for something, and to a certain extent, I think over these last several years, people have misunderstood what our motives are, and they haven't recognized the threat which is faced in the civilized world from the extreme, violent jihadists. And I think as time is going on, people recognize that this is not just a group of wackos in the hills of Pakistan that wants to set off an occasional bomb, but it is instead a group which intends on bringing down civilization and replacing our governments and our freedom and our democracy with a caliphate, a religious leader. And that recognition and realization, I think, is bringing people back to President Bush and bringing people around the world back to a recognition that we have to stand together against this extraordinary radical extreme.
But that's an optimistic viewpoint. The new Gallup poll out today says 44% of Americans approve of the president. That's up a bit, but still a majority of Americans do not. In the United Nations, every reporter said the leaders were skeptical. Now, with deaths in London and Madrid and Bali and Jordan, you know, anybody would say Mitt Romney's right. These people want to kill us. These people want to impose this jihad on the world. Yet the world, it seems to me, is not ready to step up to help the United States of America. We asked for 2,500 troops to help out in Afghanistan. Only Poland, one country out of the whole world, offered to send troops to fill that 2,500. What's the problem?
Well, it's not a problem. America has to always do what's in the best interest of this country and its people and the people of the world, but we also have to make an extraordinary effort to reach out to our friends, particularly those in NATO, and describe how we can work together.
Well, we've been doing that. We've been doing it for 6 years,
but and
they're still not getting it.
Well, yes and no. We've been doing it to a certain degree, but I remember General Eisenhower said something to the effect during the period of the Cold War that we had to wage full-out peace. We're going to have to wage with all of our allies and all of our friends an effort to confront radical jihad and to come together on a global basis.
Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Why don't they get it?
Well, people are always somewhat resistant and skeptical of the superpower of the planet. Some people, I'm sure, are jealous. But fundamentally, we have the same interest.
I think they're scared.
The civilized world has an interest in coming together with the United States. They respect our people. They respect our strength. I think they're frustrated that in some respects we haven't been as competent as they had expected us to be.
That might be true, but I think there's a predisposition not to help us on the part of France and these countries, and it's dangerous. Now, in the same poll that gave Bush's 44% approval, said that more than 60% of Americans think he's screwing up Iraq and has no plan. Do you have a plan in Iraq?
Well, I wouldn't presume to present a plan different than that of the president, but I can tell you that I believe he was right to take the war on terror on an aggressive front,
yeah, but if you want
rather than a
people to
defensive
put you
front.
in that spot,
well, but let's
you're
continue.
going to have to.
Okay, let me continue. Secondly, what our responsibility is at this stage, given the fact that we went in, we toppled the government. I don't think we had as effective a plan in place as we needed to have, or enough boots on the ground to secure the country. But that's over now.
Right.
Where are we now? Where we're not right now is to give al-Maliki the support he needs to build a strong,
no matter how many
Iraqi.
Americans die?
Well, of course, we're going to stand behind this individual and this country as it has now a coalition government, with the hope that they'll be able to build a strong enough military to protect themselves. Walking away would mean a humanitarian disaster in that country.
I agree.
Some of my liberal friends say we should be in Darfur, and I understand that because people are being killed there. It's a real concern. But don't they recognize as well that if we were just to withdraw out of Iraq, then we would also create an enormous humanitarian disaster. So we're there. We have a responsibility to finish the job.
But see, that's rhetoric, and that's what President Bush says. We have a responsibility. We're going to stand by. We're going to do this and the other thing. Here's the reality, with all due respect, Governor. The reality is that Iran is training and infiltrating people into Iraq.
Absolutely.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
And as long as that happens, those people aren't going to have democracy. You can't build a democracy when you have the country next door undermining everything you do with mad bombers. You can't. It's impossible.
You can't possibly look at the Middle East as being one country. You can't look at radical jihad as just being Iraq. It is a global effort, and we're going to have to bring in the resources of other nations in the world. In the case of Iran, in the case of Iran, China is one of the keys.
Yeah,
and China needs this market dramatically. We have to build relationships with China. And with their access to this market being so important to them, we got to say, guys, we need you to work together with us because we have a mutual interest.
Would you go to China?
We do not want to see a nuclear warhead in Iran.
China doesn't think we're going to do anything to them if they don't help us in Iran. Would you go in there to China and say...
We're not going to threaten military action, but we are going to say,
economic
guys,
action.
we're going to say, guys, you come in here quite easily. Things are very comfortable for you, and we have a very good relationship. But we expect a little help on a couple of key issues.
What if they say in Chinese, blank you, Governor?
Well, we have ways of saying a similar phrase back in English.
All right, because that's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do.
You can't negotiate. You can't negotiate.
Right.
You can't negotiate without having strength. I love what Teddy Roosevelt said.
Hammer.
Speak softly, carry a big stick. And the big stick is not just military. We use all of our tools, and we need to do more of those.
All right, we got a minute left. We got a minute left. You put the National Guard on the border, you build a wall between Mexico and the United States if you're president.
Absolutely.
Both?
Well, sure. The National Guard there because we don't have the wall yet, but the wall and a fence and secure the border. That's the first thing we have to do.
Brownsville, San Diego, you got the big wall?
You got to have a wall or a fence or electronic surveillance. You got to make sure that we secure our border. That's first. And then
why hasn't a Bush administration done this?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask the members of the administration.
Did you ever ask them?
I haven't asked that question. I don't have a lot of one-on-ones with all the members of the administration.
But you're going to do it. If you're the next president, we're going to have...
This Congress is going to do it, too. We're going to build a wall, but that's not enough.
The Mitt Romney Memorial Wall?
Well, it may be fence. I'll call it the Bill O'Reilly special. But
then nobody will come here.
But there's more. That's right. That's right.
Nobody will come. They go, O'Reilly Wall? Ain't coming.
You got to do something else. You have to have a tamper-proof document to make sure that people who are here, who are aliens, are identified, registered, and people can't hire them unless they're here legally.
All right. We like your immigration stance. We think you're very good on that. Governor, you're welcome anytime. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks for welcoming us to Boston. I think it's Fox News Day, is it not?
It certainly is. We declared it this morning. You guys are bringing
appreciate it, Governor.
Fair and balanced news to the entire country.
You bet. Thanks for being here.